Hey guys, Luke here, and I'm here to preview round 9 of the 2015 NRL season. And first, I'm just going to say, last week, internationals come at a good time for some sides, bad time for others. And also, I think this next sort of, until Origin's over, I think this will make and break a lot of these sides, a lot of the fringe sort of sides where you're sort of thinking, maybe sort of like teams like the Dragons, where you're like, man, they're going pretty good. How long can it last? Are they going to last the whole time, or what's going to happen? Are they going to drop away? The Origin period definitely going to tell us, just how much of a threat some of these sides are. But let's not waste any more time. Let's get into some of the games. So first up, we've got Broncos and Panthers. So my prediction for the game is that Broncos are going to win. That's just based off the fact that I think Panthers still got too many injuries. Also, from reports, Moylan's got a fractured hand. How accurate that is, I'm not really sure. It looks like he's going to play, but obviously going to be hampered if you got a fractured hand. We've seen Johnson playing with an injured hand. It looks like he hasn't really dealt with it too well. So especially for someone like Moylan, like, I know all players have to rely on their hands a lot, but catching bombs and that sort of stuff like that can't be too fun with a hurt hand. In other news, still no Seguiaro. I'm not sure if he's a chance of playing, but I just believe they're too weak. Their spine just isn't good enough. And Broncos before the international break were looking relatively strong. They weren't setting the world on fire by any means, but I think they'll definitely have enough to beat the Panthers. There's just too many big game players, and especially I wanted to mention, with the Origin period coming up, also what will make and break teams is some of the sort of teams that are performing below par will probably step up in this stage, because a lot of them are being like, we want an Origin spot, so they'll start playing good again. In particular, Queenslanders seem to do it. They'll sort of, even when they're playing shit, as soon as the Origin time comes around, they just turn it on somehow. People like Hodges, maybe a Ben Hunt, Milford, some of those guys. Josh Maguire, looking for big games. So I'm going to say Broncos 13 plus. I think in the end, Suncorp Stadium, just too much for the Panthers. Roosters and Tigers. This should be an interesting game, due to the fact that Tigers, such a young side, can score points, but at the same time, I think the game against Bulldogs, that was maybe a one-off. I know they've scored points against sides before, but I can't see them happening to the Roosters. Usually, pretty good defensively, pretty strong side, much better than the side Bulldogs put out a few weeks ago. So a much tougher assignment for the Tigers. In saying that, though, youth can be great sometimes. Don't really fear as much, possibly, and you can somehow just come out and out-enthuse teams, which could possibly happen to the Roosters. Some of them could have their minds in Origin, like Pearce and Maloney, try too much. You never know. Some of these things just happen sometimes. But I am going to say Roosters 13 plus. I think in the end they'll just be way too good. Moving on to the next game, Raiders vs Titans, which I actually think will be a pretty entertaining game. Whether I watch it or not, I don't really know. But both Raiders and Titans, both pretty solid teams this year, which is a bit surprising to some, in particular for me, Titans. But Raiders being pretty consistent, which is something that hasn't happened for a few years now. But they've got a pretty good side, and another one like Papal will be looking for a big game. Maybe even Blake Austin will be trying to look for a big game. Jack White, and depending on fullback positions at New South Wales, there's a few guys there. For the Titans, can't see no Greg Bird named. Obviously, Judiciary at the time of recording, I don't know whether how much time he's actually going to get, because he's contesting it now. But you expect he's going to be out for a while, so they're going to have some players step up. Lockie Burr moving into the lock position, by the looks of things. Dave Taylor, Nate Miles, Ryan James, looking for big gains for them. And also James Roberts, probably a chance on the wing, possibly for Origin. Who knows? So a lot to play for these guys. Top 8, everything. I am going to say Raiders, just due to the fact that it's in Canberra, and I think Raiders are a little bit more consistent. And maybe that break came at a bad time for the Titans. They've just been scoring points. Where Raiders, I think, could just grind out a game, possibly. So that's why I'm going to go Raiders 1-12. Sharks taking on the Warriors. The Sharks lineup, I've seen Ben Barber at fullback, Holmes and Gordon on the wing. Not sure if that's the best move, but I suppose at least give Barber a chance. I'm not his biggest fan by any means, but if you're going to have Barber in the side, you at least got to give him a chance at fullback. We all saw what he could do when he's fit and at his best. And I use that, at his best, because he probably won't reach that ever again. But I suppose you got to just take a chance. Stage Sharks still without Paul Gallen. I'm not sure how much longer he's going to be out for. Luke Lewis in the lock position. They got an okay side, and I think what's going for them is that they're playing in Australia, which Warriors don't tend to like doing. But Shaun Johnson had an outstanding game for New Zealand, which could have came at the perfect time for him playing in that game, which I think Sharks will be very afraid of Shaun Johnson. I'm expecting a win for the Warriors. I'm going to say 13 plus. I think Warriors will sort of get a little bit of a sniff and then just go on with it. Cowboys and Bulldogs. Now, this is going to be totally biased, this game. Although I'd say if you're a betting man, the smart bet would probably be on the Cowboys. But that's as far as I'll go into that one. Why I think Bulldogs can win it. I think Josh Morris is a big plus back into the side. Just more leadership, really. I do think Moses Mbye coming into the side, into the halves position, is a big plus as well. As much as I like Josh Reynolds, I can't defend him anymore. Too many fuck ups all the time. It's ridiculous. And Hodkinson isn't much better. He's not better at all. He's, in fact, possibly worse. Saying that though, Mbye just straighten things up a little bit, directs them around a lot better, I think, just all around better. Which is a little bit weird for an Origin halfback and in contendership for, the halfback spot. But maybe this is a good time for Hodkinson. He's had a bit of a break. Maybe there's a niggling injury. Who knows? Some time to sort of go soul searching. But I'm probably looking in too much. Where I think Bulldogs can win this, I think will be in the forward pack. I just think with Cowboys not having Taumalolo in that, I think this might be a chance for Josh Jackson, Tony Williams, and Greg Eastwood to just take a hold of this game and just run amok. Well, at least that's how I'd hope it will go. Although with Thurston and Michael Morgan in good form, Lachlan Coote at fullback playing quite well, anything can happen. Also, Justin O'Neill is someone that they should target as well. But I'm going to say Bulldogs 1-12, just out of hope more than anything. Sea Eagles taking on the Knights. Now, this one a little bit mixed on. I will say the Knights will win, in my opinion. But I know Sea Eagles got a little bit of confidence after the win, although it was against the Storm, and they only seem to be able to beat the Storm. Actually, yeah, 100%. That's what happened this season. Still not particularly impressed with them. Looks like they're getting some more troops back from injury, although they did lose Jamie Buhrer for the season. I'm not sold on David Williams to the wing, but I suppose they haven't really got many other options. Billy Mason drops to the bench. I think Jake Trbojevic has been, I don't really know how to pronounce it, but Trbojevic, he's been quite good. But yeah, I think the Knights will just have too much in the forwards, and I think their backline's too good. The only question marks is whether Tyrone Roberts can come up with a half-decent game, as well as Gidley as well. But if everyone else sort of plays half-decent, they should be able to beat Manly comfortably, I think. So I'm going to say 1-12, because I don't think they'll blow them away, but yeah, I think they should be able to win. Eels taking it on the Storm. This is a bit of an interesting one. Obviously, we know Eels can come up with some, gains. It all depends on Chris Sandow, really, what his form's like. I'm going to say that it's probably not going to be that great, and they probably won't fare too well. Storm just way too consistent, up and about to top. Cooper Cronk, Green, Slater, pretty much full strength Storm. The strongest you're going to get. So I'm expecting a big win from the Storm. I'm not going to say that they're going to be like super, super, super good, but I'm going to think that it's never really going to be in doubt. But I could be wrong there. Sorry, Eels fans, but that's just how I think. I do think it'll be 13 plus. Moving on to the last game, which is Rabbitohs taking on the Dragons. This is a fairly hard one to pick, I'd have to say. No Josh Dugan named for the Dragons. I don't know if he'll play or not, but Rabbitohs, like Inglis, hasn't really impressed me lately. The Hearts pairing, Keary and Sutton. I'm not sure how they go. Both sort of Keary. I think Keary's a good player, but I don't know if he can lead a side. Although if Adam Reynolds is definitely a chance of playing this week, at the time of recording at least anyway, so if he plays, I back him every day of the week against the Dragons. But in saying that though, without him, they actually look like a pretty weak team. Like the forward pack looks pretty darn weak. Maybe it's just credit to Sam Burgess, so like how he made the team look so much better than what it was. But I don't know, the team just doesn't look very impressive to me. But I don't know, maybe I'm just being fooled into into thinking Dragons can win this one. Although Josh Dugan's a big loss for the Dragons. Peter Matauda, I'm sure will go and do a pretty decent job. But yeah, I can see the fairy tale run sort of ending this game. But at the same time, I can also see them just destroying the Rabbitohs, because Rabbitohs, like I said, looking pretty weak. One of the weakest they've been in a long while. In saying that though, I am going to pick Rabbitohs. At least if Reynolds plays. If Reynolds doesn't play, I'll go Dragons. But that's where the video is going to end. Hopefully you've enjoyed it. Leave in the comment section your predictions for the week. I'd love to see who you think is going to win. and maybe why a team's going to win. So like, seeing a few Titans plays, like if you're going to pick Titans, say why you think they're going to win, not just pick them. And saying that though, if you leave a like, very much appreciated. If you can subscribe to my channel, also very much appreciated. And also, if you want to check out my other video, which is uploaded today, that'd be very much appreciated as well. If you want to follow me on Twitter, at Mr. Luke YT is my Twitter handle. And I've got a Facebook page in the description below if you prefer to use that. It's linked to my Twitter page. So, no harm done liking the Facebook page. You just get the same stuff that's going to happen on Twitter anyways. Alright, this is where the video ends, and I'll see you for the next video. Bye, guys.